Well, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone slept last night. We've had a historic day with elections being yesterday, and I'm just going to check a couple of things here while people are coming on board. I see a couple of people over there. Can look and check to see if I've got my. See if I've got it live. Hi, Karen. Alley Cat, how you doing? Looking to see if I've got Twitter is up or not. I have a hard time seeing. Figuring out where to find my links. Let me see. It does say it's streaming on Twitter right now, so we should be able to say yes. Good to see y'all. And Richard Weber, hey, how are you? All right, so wanted to make sure that we get an update to everybody and then say, okay, what is the next steps and what have I been doing? How am I doing? I'm not going to lie. I've had a lot of pain over the last few weeks with this shoulder problem. And what you see here is kind of my own creation using a pulley and a clasp up here. But this is a little stretching device that I have made to stretch my arm out, stretch my shoulder out. Painful, but it is giving me a range of motion increase. So we're working on that. Fighting with the VA to try and get the VA to get an ortho to Zoom call with me. May or may not happen. So I'm attempting to get better. So what do we have? We're currently still in Vandalia. We've been letting Mona and the Convoy for Honor go down there in Branson, and didn't want to really step on the folks that were down there, live streaming down there. And hopefully those folks will be able to kind of hook up, because Friday morning we are going to be looking to walk out of Vandalia, walking towards Effingham, Illinois. And I would like to see if we could get some people together. Well, let's talk about what happened. The 800-pound elephant in the room. Let's just say the white elephant in the room. 800 pounds is nothing. The 800-pound gorilla. Let's put it that way. This entire movement is based on ending the state of emergency for COVID-19. With things rolling down towards the end of the year, and SJ Res 48, which was the bill that was passed in the Senate, 48 to 47, was never introduced into a committee in the House after it passed in the Senate. Now that is a joint resolution to end the state of emergency that we're under. The Biden administration has no intention of ending the state of emergency on this. Be very clear about that. So, since it never was introduced into a committee when it went over to the House after passing in the Senate, there is no way to be able to run a discharge petition to be able to remove that from the committee that it would be stuck in and put it out on the House floor for a vote, and then try to collect the 218 votes to be able to force it to the floor for a vote. With that, we started putting our hat on HJRes 46. HJRes 46 is, for all intents and purposes, exactly the same bill. It calls on 50 U.S.C. 1622 subsection 202 alpha 1 to have both houses be in sync in their joint resolution to end the state of emergency. Now, that particular bill has been sitting in, of all places, the Transportation Committee in the House. And there is a discharge petition 12, that has 126 signatures on it to remove it from the committee and put it to the floor. We would need 92 more signatures. Let's be real. That's not going to happen. After last night, we are going to have a lame duck House. They're not going to look to do anything in the 117th, period. Especially if it goes against the narrative of the Democrats. It's not going to happen. So what do we have to do? We have to start working on getting a new joint resolution prepared for the 118th. And then we have to get people to understand that the only way that anything is ever going to change in this country is with people. And I'm not talking about just a few 100,000 or 1 million people down in Washington, D.C. That's not what I'm speaking to. What I'm speaking to is entering into Washington, D.C. on the streets with millions of people. Now, I've been in communication with Senator Ron Johnson's office, and the 10th Amendment is strong when it comes to Senator Johnson. And what it is that Senator Johnson believes in is let the states do the fight. I agree with that, which is another reason why I wanted to go across these states. But I think that going forward, we know that two things are going to happen. One, we are delayed. We are delayed because we cannot do anything in the 117th. That lame duck House of Representatives that is sitting there currently under Nancy Pelosi's rule is absolutely not going to do a thing. Doesn't matter if we have supporters that are calling 100 times a day, calling their representatives, telling them to sign discharge petition 12 and to be ready, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, be ready to pass House Joint Resolution 46 or HJRes 46 or not. It's just not going to happen. So we're in this state of limbo with respect to the ending of the state of emergency. Let's be clear. The state of emergency will indeed move forward beyond January 1st. The resident will utilize it going forward. There is so much connected to this state of emergency. So much connected to it. Everybody seems to think, oh, you're wasting your time. Obviously, considering I can't look out my window and see 1 million people here with me, obviously, there is a misunderstanding in people's minds as to what it is that we are trying to achieve. We are trying to achieve something that has never been done before in the United States of America. We are trying to show where Americans call the ball. and not the politicians. Our great Constitution is, in fact, under attack, but not by MAGA. No, by the elites. When somebody like Gretchen Whitmer is sitting up there in the state of Michigan, locking down her state, taking away your constitutional rights, your God-given rights. That is what the Constitution represents. It represents your God-given rights. Then we have problems. Now they still are there. They won their re-election bids, if you want to believe that. I've been saying all along, there are, just like the stock market has indices, there are key indices to issues in this country. For instance, the state of New York. The state of New York knocked Lee Zeldin out. But when you look at the counties electronically, a lot of the counties, the districts, have the exact same numbers. I ask you, why? When you go to the state of Pennsylvania, they have the same problem. The exact same numbers. Those are placements. And I had said last night to my admin team, we have to turn our focus to states like my state of Nevada, where I have Adam Laxalt is pulled ahead along with Sheriff Joe Lombardo from Clark County, and they have turned my county red. So now out of 19 counties, there are 18 counties that are red, but they refuse to call the election. Why do they do that? Because they are looking for any little groove that they could squeeze in another vote. Okay. The way to cheat is wait until the polls are closed and then run a query with a singularity database, which is what they use, to see who has voted and who has not. And then to see, let's just use simple math. They run the query, they get 100 as the answer, 100 records. But they need 700 records to make a change to their candidate. Then what do? Eventually, when they can't find any more, they have to come to the conclusion that there was just too many Republicans that came out to vote to be able to do the cheat. It's point blank. That's what's going on right now in Arizona. Right now in Arizona, when we looked yesterday, we saw a whole bunch of voting poll stations, all of a sudden, 25% of them, that would not scan ballots. I'm letting my little one get up here and get comfortable. Turns out, later in the evening, that someone changed printer settings in the machines. But you could put your vote into slot number 3, and it'll go downtown and be counted in front of election officials, both Democrat and Republican. Now, if you were to believe that the fix wasn't in, it still is a suppression technique, because they were fine in the primaries. They were fine in all the other counties except Maricopa. They were fine in the Democrat-held areas of Maricopa. But in the Republican strongholds of Maricopa County, there were problems. This is a suppression issue, and they're still counting them today. And yet you have a state like Florida, third largest state in the union, has all of their stuff in by 9 p.m. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that something's wrong. And I have been saying since I left, since I've started, since you all have been watching me, that it was important to vote. It was important to get your vote in, because even though you may feel like it won't count, it swamps their ability. Because all of a sudden, when they look after the polls close and they slow the count down, that they don't have enough, because there was so much in the way of turnout, they just don't have enough to turn it. That only works one time with them, because then we have to fix the system. We have to fix the integrity of that system. And the way that we fix the integrity is we toss them out on their ears. We toss the Dominions and the ESS machines out. You're out of here. Now, I'm not out here to fight that fight. Or am I? Because let's talk about that. Let's go back to that state of emergency. What did they push down our throats in the name of the state of emergency? Mail-in ballots. Every single state that has mail-in ballots has a dominance of Democrat voters in the larger cities. Mail-in ballots are the worst thing that you could possibly have. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have absentee ballots. I'm saying that you shouldn't have mail-in ballots. But the mail-in ballot program is all based on the fact that we are under a state of emergency. You want to get your states back, and you want to get your voter integrity rebuilt and take it back, you get rid of mail-in ballots. You get rid of mail-in voting. You're not only going to do that when you can end the state of emergency, that I am out here fighting. That I am trying to get people like you to come join me and let your voice be heard. It's getting cold out, I know. We're getting into that time of year. And we're still trying to decide what it is that we do. We're not going to get the 1/17th to make any change. So we have to start finding ways to get the 1/18th ready to go. That's going to be an easy pass to get a joint resolution bill written. We can even take the one that's HJ Res 46, copy it, and have it ready for somebody to sponsor that as HJ1 in a 1/18th. That's what we should be doing. We should be contacting our representatives to be and let them know what it is that we need to do. First thing that the new Congress needs to do is to end the state of emergency and strip the administration's teeth out. We strip out the administration's teeth of their utilization, their abuse, their flat out abuse of using this state of emergency for COVID-19. We change the September 14th, 1976 National Emergencies Act, or we eliminate it and replace it with an act that will allow for states of emergency to be declared, but not for what they have utilized this state of emergency for. Trust me, my friends. We're watching other countries, and we are seeing already where people in other countries are looking to bring back the mandates. They're looking to shut down and lock down their country. We're already seeing it in China. We're seeing that Chinese people out of Beijing, for instance, have to take a test every single day. They've got to take a COVID test every single day. And if they don't pass the test, then their QR code won't allow it to go green, and they're not allowed to go to work. And then the government officials are contacted. We're going to be there. Now, even though I'm saying we need to end the state of emergency, you're in charge. You're in charge. If you're not upset over the way that these elections are happening right now, you should be. You should be ready to stand up and roar. You should be ready to be able to swamp the streets, not just in Washington, D.C., but going to Washington, D.C. We should be able to start contacting our representatives. We should be able to start bringing people together who can put together their own gray wolf walks for their state houses in all 50 states, and letting those representatives that are going to be new to those state houses, and some of them have been there a while, who they work for. They work for us. But they don't seem to think that they work for us. No, you've got the George Soroses, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and many others that have a lot of this, corporations, in fact, that are out to control us. So we really need, outside of my walk, we need to have simultaneous buildups, like what Mona is doing with her love, peace, and togetherness convoy of honor. A lot of my friends are down there right now showing their support for what Mona Miller is doing down there in Branson. And hats off to her for being able to put together such a wonderful thing. The individuals, when they leave there on the 12th, I hope that they come to see me. I hope that they can come up and say, Gray Wolf, what do you need us to do? I don't need y'all to walk. I still need advanced teams out there. I still need people out there saying, we're coming, and we're coming to end the tyranny that this government has brought on the American people and the world. We're coming to build such a massive amount of people up that they have no choice but to listen. They have no choice but to listen to us. That is what we have to do. We have to let them know who's in charge. I'm still out here. I'm not heading back to my home state. I'm watching what's going on in Brazil. They're bringing in the military. And I'm going to be honest with you. We should be doing the same. Because we have definitely proven that our elections are compromised. We've proven that. And we should be, this whole, the Democrats are going to say, oh, he's an election denier, like they're doing with Kari Lake. Some of us have seen enough to show us and prove that there was not just one way of cheating. There were multiple ways of cheating. And it doesn't matter who it is they're cheating. Right now, they're cheating. I'll give you one example, and you can draw your own conclusions. You go with a ballot. You fill out your ballot. Let's just say you're a Republican in Atlanta, Georgia, Fulton County. You check mark and fill in the bubble for Kemp. Are you going to skip over the U.S. Senate position for Herschel Walker, are you going to say, "Nah, we're going to go over here to Warnock," and then you're just going to, or are you just going to go Kemp, and you're not going to fill the down ballot up, and then you're going to submit that? I think not, friends. So when you can see a 20-point differential going between Kemp and Abrams, for instance, why would there not be the down ballots so strong that Herschel Walker wouldn't have to go into a runoff? You should be asking those questions. What do you do about it? Well, you have to get in and you have to toss Dominion out on their ear. You have to toss ES and Fs out too. You have to get to a paper ballot system. And you have to do like other states do, like other countries do, I should say, like France. Everything's on paper and they get it in one day. What is going on in Arizona, what is going on in Wisconsin, or what is Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York, and in Georgia is a travesty. It's a travesty to the United States citizens. And we need to fix that. How are we going to fix that? We've got to end the mail-in ballots, which means we need to end the state of emergency. We end the state of emergency, and you take the rug out from underneath their feet. Now, all of a sudden, Big Pharma can't sit on top of an emergency use authorization to force jabs. All of a sudden, they can't use the jab to force people out of jobs. They cannot fight Title 42 on the southern border. They cannot give our medical sovereignty to the WHO. Oh, by the way, they can't do that anyway, since we don't have a treaty with the WHO. Did you know that? There is no treaty with the World Health Organization. Pull out of the support of the World Health Organization because they're nothing but a CCP-owned scam. But again, you're under this state of emergency. So what I have done is I have looked at everything, and all roads lead back to the state of emergency. You want to topple the building? Attack the foundation. No, I agree. It's going to take some time now because the 117th is just going to go. But the 118th is now going to be Republican controlled. Maybe we can get someone to sponsor this. Jim Jordan, one of the other Republican winners that can introduce in a joint resolution to end the state of emergency. My problem is that I had hoped to be able to take you to DC in the 117th and end it. But without the number of people we need to do that, I can't do that. We need millions. We need people to stand up and say, you work for me, and get behind me. Or if they're better than me, get in front of me. I don't care. I'm just an old man from Reno, Nevada saying enough is enough. And I am doing what it is that I think needs to be done. And that is to bring people to the party. Quit standing around and saying, we'll fix it in the election. Someone else will fix it for me. Bull. Stand up on your own 2 feet. It begins. This fight begins with that state of emergency, people. We have to end it. should be blowing up the phone with your to your representatives in the 117th Congress and at least attempting to get them to make some movement. I doubt it'll happen, but that we have to go there as Americans. We have to. So let's fight the fight. We are in this boat together, folks. We are in this boat called the USS America. And until we fix this boat's leaks, we're not going to be successful. A friend of mine, songwriter, he's down there right now. In fact, I believe last night was his last performance in Branson with Mona. He wrote a song called Let's Save America. I would like for you to listen to the words of this song, and then I'll be back.
Everybody's feeling like they gotta take a stand. Let's all stand together, and together we'll understand that we're all in the same boat, sailing along. If we wanted to be here after we're gone, seal up the cracks, keep the hull strong. Let's save America. Storms are gonna be rough as we travel across the sea. I know we're gonna make it, 'cause I got you and you got me. Now there's one thing I know right down to the letter. If we really wanna see it get better, we're gonna have to do it together. Can't you see? Let's save America. Let's save America. We gotta get back on course. If they won't listen to our voice, we'll shout it out louder. Through any kind of weather, we can make it together. Yeah. Let's save America. America. Let's save America.
In America, we may have our differences, but we all have one thing in common. We live in the greatest country in the history of the world. So let's save America.
Let's save America. America. Let's save America. America. Let's save America. Yeah. Come on. Sing it loud. Let's save America. America. Let's save America. America. Let's save America. Yeah. Come on now. Shout it out. Let's save America. America.
So you see that last part there is we the people are the storm. There's no doubt. Hey, Brad, doing pretty good. Been stretching this thing out. Just not going to get anything out of the VA, so doing it myself. So we are the storm. How do you build it up? You build it up with people. You get like-minded individuals who know something is wrong with this country. Put your long johns on, put your jackets on, and find out where I am. Go to graywolfwalk.com and look at the maps. It's pretty easy from this point on. I'm in Vandalia, Illinois. The State House, the first Illinois State House, is just down the street from us here. And I'm going to walk out of here on Friday morning, and I hope that there'll be people here to walk out with me. Don't have to walk all the way to Washington, D.C., but walk. Show your support. Get more people. Let's go together. And we can do this if we get the people. Understand that I'm doing something here that's never, ever been done in the United States before. Since the United States began as the United States. They're stepping all over us and we're letting them? They're laughing at us. Why do you think it is that Katie Hobbs, Whitmer, and all these other individuals refusing to do debates with their counterparts, the people that are running against? Because they know the fix is in. And why is it that Katie Hobbs didn't recuse herself? She's Secretary of State of Arizona, running on the ballot and is in charge of the polling stations. I can't see how that was illegal. I can't see why there's no lawsuits running right now against Katie Hobbs for not recusing herself, considering that she runs the staff and that she runs the election system in Arizona. And she's running against Kari Lake for governor in Arizona. I can't understand how that can be allowed. Why are there no lawsuits for that? Why is that not against the Constitution of Arizona? It's got to be. So I have a feeling Kari Lake's going to pull it out. You know why? I've been saying since I left Nevada, vote and overwhelm the system. You overwhelm the system, they have no count to be able to go to pull and fill those little cracks and crevices with just enough votes to be able to have their candidate win. Unless they do, like what we've seen in some districts in the past, where they go past the number of registered voters for their district. How does Detroit wind up with 107% turnout? You know, if we look at something here, let's do a little math, shall we? If we do a little math, we have 335 million people, and I'm only going to use the 3 digits, in the United States. How many of the 335 million are registered to vote? Well, they say 138, but the voter rolls haven't been cleaned. So we say 134 million. Okay? How many, and I'm back at the 2020 timeframe, right? November 2020. Yeah, one of those election deniers. Okay. 134 million people registered in the United States to vote in 2020. How many did Donald J. Trump secure? How many votes? 75 million, 74 and some change, right? That's what's left. 59 million votes. But the resident got 81 million, right? Where did 22 million votes come from, folks? It's a simple math quiz. No, I'm not using Common Core. But 22 million votes just appeared out of nowhere? That's it. That's the simple math on it. Shouldn't have to go any further. And you know what? The red wave was the number of individuals that showed up to vote. And I'm here to tell you that was a tsunami. The problem is, there still wasn't enough to overwhelm this system so much that you could stop their cheats. So the red wave was the people that showed up. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for standing in line for hours. Yesterday, I was sending out messages telling people, if you're in Arizona and you're in Maricopa County, call somebody and have them deliver you, I don't care, pizza, water, chairs, and sit it out. Because once you're in line, they have to let you vote. That's what we have to do. We have to start camping out on these locations. Hey, Casey. Yeah, I'm here in Vandalia. And Gypsy and Mr. T are fixing dinner. So
yeah, we apologize for noises and things in the background that you can't see.
So, go ahead.
I was just going to say tonight's dinner is, I'm going to grab the French here in a minute. We're going to turn it into Monterey chicken and rice.
Okay.
Have a good dinner for you this evening.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, we had a real good visit the other day with Soup Mama. Soup Mama came out. You all got to see what we did. You know, because we paused this walk for trying to be able to work on my shoulder and also to let the election cycle go through. And also to think about what it is that we needed to do. We're still attacking the state of emergency. It's not the mandates. It's the state of emergency, excuse me, that they're using to develop these mandates. Without the state of emergency, they don't have any way to continue. So that's where we have to become strong. We have to share, we have to like, we have to subscribe, and we have to put it out across all platforms, friends, family, and everyone else that's upset about how this election turned out. Each and every state, especially the battleground states, has to get rid of the mail-in balloting, the mail-in votes. If you have to do a mail-in, it has to be done through the proper channels of an absentee ballot. Because there's nothing to show. I mean, you look in 2020, we had a court order in Philadelphia. We had a court order to allow Republican monitors in, and they still defied that court order, and nothing was about it. And that's where you've heard me on this channel talk about our first and last line of defense, our sheriffs. Sheriffs, they don't work for the governors, they don't work for the president, they work for you, they work for me. Our sheriffs should have started arresting those poll workers that were blocking access to people that were allowed to watch for any cheating that was going on. And they were doing it behind closed doors. Look what they did in Detroit. They put up blocks, cardboard blockades. We didn't hold anyone accountable. But they sure come after Republicans, haven't they? We have to start holding them accountable. We need investigations. And I intend to communicate with the new 118th. Maybe it'll be Jim Jordan, to start investigations as to who started and abusing the state of emergency and all the things that they have tied to it, to the state of emergency. Got it?
Got it.
And hold them accountable for their abuses. Well, the way we do that again is with people. We do that with people. Well, black smoke matters. You're right. It's always been. But when they went to electronic voting, they gave them a way to do electronic ballot stuffing. It gave them a way to get into a singularity database and remove votes from the person that should be going ahead and putting it on the person that shouldn't be. We saw it again last night in Atlanta, Georgia, on Warnock versus Walker, where in the wee hours of the morning, all of a sudden, the Democrat has this boost straight up and then continues the line, and now has surpassed the Republican. That doesn't happen in databases. It does not happen, people. I'm not talking about misinformation. I'm just talking about pure logic. Logic tells you that you should not see a singularity database go up, straight up. That's an anomaly. That's an anomaly. But I would say to you, don't be so upset that you're blind to everything. We have to try to get this done peacefully. This is kind of our last hurrah to do things on a peaceful level. Yes, Judy, we need paper ballots and we need ballot monitors or poll monitors. And we need to make sure that our sheriffs are on board to be constitutional officers. That's what they take the oath to. When things go sideways, they're the ones we have to go to, is our sheriffs, not the police departments. And for those of you that are police officers that report to a captain, to a chief of police, who reports to the mayor, I would think that when things go sideways, that you have already worked with your sheriff and have been deputized to leave the police department and go to the sheriff's as a deputy. That's what we need to do. We need to ensure that, there's a lot of good officers out there. They're just working for a body that's legislatively controlled. There's a politician up there controlling everything that occurs. That doesn't happen in the sheriff's departments, with the exception of Clark County that merged the sheriff's department with the Metro Police Department. And we got Sheriff Joe Lombardo out of it. Hold my nose on the vote because anything was better than Sisolak at that point. So I'm sorry, Brad, that your man didn't make it for governor of Illinois. But I'm sure if there was a way to be able to do the proper investigations, that we would see something was amiss in that election as well. But again, don't let people discourage you saying that the red wave didn't occur. It did occur. It did occur. It occurred in people showing up to vote. If the Republicans had just tossed their hands in the air and said, I'm not going to do it because it's not going to work anyway, it would have been a lot worse. We wouldn't have the House back. We wouldn't have, and I'm ready to go back there and get the bottle of whiskey out and have a toast. Got rid of Nancy Pelosi. That alone is worth celebration. So now we just have to be smart about what it is that we're out to achieve next. We need to get rid of that state of emergency, and I will continue to say that. Now, if you all come to me and you join me and we're moving that direction and we're able to start to get audience, we are able to start to get the attention of media, shall I say, there are other things that can be done. And okay, so Sheriff Richard Mack just texted me. I'm sorry for the interruption here. Yeah.
Can I make an announcement or actually say something?
Yeah, come on around over
Okay.
here. Gypsy's going to talk to you guys.
Just for a second, y'all. Look, check it out. Tomorrow's November 10th. Happy birthday, 247 to the United States Marine Corps. Hoorah.
Hoorah.
Just had to give my shout out. Sorry.
Do it. Not a problem. So yeah, so I just received a text message from Sheriff Richard Mack of CSPOA. Ah. I was just looking for some guidance here. Hold on. I think what I'm going to do while I take care of answering Sheriff Mack is I'm going to have Texas play the intermission, which will show our when I was at the Senate meeting. So go ahead, Texas. I'll be back in 10 minutes or so.
There's a cry of freedom sweeping around the world today. And here we have it all, life and liberty. Still we give the dream away. No more can we afford to stand around, set inside our ways. Wake up in the USA. Wake up in the USA.
Story himself, and he's been right by our side from day one in this. He's seen the emotional roller coaster that this journey has been.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Senators, for hearing us today. My name is Ron Coleman. I'm from Reno, Nevada. I own a small trucking company, or at least I will until next week, maybe. Who knows how far that goes.
Yeah.
But my daughter said to me before I left, Dad, you can't afford to do this with everything that's come over the last 2 years. And I looked at her and I said, I can't afford not to do this.
Yeah.
This has been an emotional roller coaster that you cannot imagine, you can't even put words to. And in reality, it comes down to some things very much like this. This note wrapped around a cookie from a family. If I may, I'll read this. Dear Trucker, I admire your courage and your determination in doing this. I will support you in prayer for a victory over the sad oppression that is going on. Thank you for fighting for all of us. A mother of 3, God bless you. I have a box full of these letters. I have 4-year-old girls coming up, hugging me, and handing me crayon notes. We love you. Thank you for fighting for our future freedoms. In a crayon note. I tell them, I am just like the Pony Express of the days gone by. And I will collect your tears, I will collect your messages, I will collect your heart, and I will take it with me to Washington, D.C.
Help others when you can. Respect your fellow man. Can't you see the times are changing?
And I will deliver it. And that mission is partially complete for me personally. But I also tell them the truckers are the tip of the spear, and the body of the spear is the people. We are nothing without the people. So this isn't about the truckers.
When priorities are wrong, we've got to stand up strong and rearrange them.
We are awakening people all over this world. We are awakening, as Alan said, millions of people seeing their tears, hugs, to where I'm having to hold them from collapsing in sob. This is a movement that the people have brought forth that says our God-given rights have been trampled on from our Constitution. And he's right. Our Constitution and 56 very fine gentlemen sat in a room in Philadelphia and they pounded this out. They knew this day would come. This is why we have these writings. This is why we believe in these writings.
It's time that we wake up and see our freedom was never free. So wake up in the USA.
And moving forward, we want to make sure that every single American, and you're right, Senator Cruz, these people are coming and they're waking up.
Yep.
And,
Absolutely.
and when they awaken, they will not go back to sleep. And we're bringing them forward. And we were bringing them with us. And I say to them, call every single official that you can, every politician that you can, and let's start burning up these phone lines and letting them know, let Nancy Pelosi know that the power is in the people and we are coming.
Amen.
You know what you need to do. Don't give up, you gotta push on through.
Thank
First of
you.
all, God bless her for doing that. I can see you're compelled, and all of your stories here are compelling. What's going through my mind, I wish the press would have been here to see the entire thing. I think we should bring him in right now. I think we should,
So a chance for a little more
Oh, I'm
personal
sorry.
choice.
Sorry,
Oh,
hi.
I drive a 1-ton truck, and apparently you cannot park it in downtown DC.
She's from your district.
I'm from West Texas, sir.
Awesome. Where?
Out in Midland. I own a hotshot trucking company in the oil fields.
Fantastic.
So I came up here with, I'm keeping my guys working down there, and came up here and brought about 20 people from Texas from me.
Wonderful.
We tried to organize the state as best we could within 12 days. If you've never done grassroots, it's a wild ride.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be here, to be honest. So I pretty much said, I can do oil field 24/7, or I could do this. It's real hard to do both.
I understand.
So this is just, everybody's here for the same reason, for our freedoms, for our children's freedoms, for the generations to come, their freedoms too.
Quit closing your eyes, pretending that you don't see.
And Texas is a wonderful state. I think it's harder for Texas because we stood up for our freedoms a lot sooner than a lot of other states. And I think it's just overpass of people. I think there's 15, a dozen overpasses that did not have people on it from Texas all the way to here.
And if you think you'll just spectate, it's too late. We all live here together, from sea to shining sea.
That we're the majority. We may be the silent. We're not silent anymore.
Yep.
We are not silent anymore. And people, you make eye contact with them, they're just like, thank you. Thank you for standing up for us. Thank you for being here for us. Thank you for watching over our children. They just say thank you. They're so grateful. And that's what we're all here for. We're here to do that, to stand for everybody's freedoms. Whatever side of the table you stand on, it's for your freedom too, whether we agree or disagree. It's okay. That's what makes this country beautiful. And that's what we stand for under that Constitution with each other.
This convoy has really shown the heart and soul of the United States and what we truly are about. And I really implore your colleagues to come down, you and your colleagues, to all come down on both sides of the aisle and meet with these drivers. There's so many stories like it, to meet with these people down there. Remember, it's not just truckers, it's people from all over America that are down there. They come from every jurisdiction. I know of 30, 40, 50 of your own constituents that are in trucks. They flew in from Hawaii.
Rented RVs.
It's hard to drive a truck from Hawaii.
Right.
Yeah, I tried.
I know you want to bring the press in to, because it's times here. I want to just, to wrap it up. This really is a spiritual war, and we've awakened a lot of people across the country. We have a pandemic of unchecked power. That's what it is.
Yep.
And as soon as you put man's power above God's power, you know who wins. But we've got a pendulum that's swinging from woke to the Great Awakening, and there's nobody who's seen that more firsthand than the truckers who drove across the country to see this. And we don't have our freedoms. We're here because Americans will not have freedoms as long as emergency powers exist and continue to be abused. It's why we're here. We need our freedom back. We need accountability. We need investigations. We appreciate any help you can offer.
Absolutely. Now there's a cry of freedom sweeping around the USA. No one can take the sunlight or the breeze. No one can turn our blue skies gray. Now everybody join together with me as I pray. Wake up in the USA. Wake up. In the USA. Wake up. You live in the USA.
All right, so I was responding back to Sheriff Richard Mack. Thank you, if you're watching, Sheriff. One of the things that I was talking about this morning is, and I've been talking about it at the beginning of the stream, is the people need to put their trust into the sheriffs. But there are sheriffs who are still bought and paid for by the elites, and we have to weed them out. And the way that we weed them out is by the people. Sorry, my dog is back here because the guys are reading and she is not allowed in, so she's out here acting like a gerbil or like a mini Chewbacca back here. So we need to identify the questions that I was asking is why weren't the sheriff's deputies involved with Maricopa County's issues with the voting machines? And I won't share the exact words, but just suffice to say that there's somebody with the initials GS involved with that. So we've got to fix this, people. We've got to fix this. And we are going to have to get the people together, and we'll get, the people together by hook or crook. I mean, this is the movement. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot of people out here. We need to start sharing. I've just got my Twitter back up. Thank you, Elon Musk, for not knocking me down for free speech. I've lost 2 Twitter accounts to free speech. One of them, General Flynn himself, was monitoring with what I was doing, action with me. I could reach out to General Flynn and ask him what he can do, but hey, stop. But I won't, because I mean, he's a pretty busy man right now. But building my Twitter account back up, the @PLAAC account over on Twitter, and she is just not letting go. So she is back there letting everybody know that she's back there and wants some of what's out here, which looks pretty good. Monterey chicken. So she sounds a little bit like a Woogie. A Wookie. Stop it. So she knows that she's not allowed out here when there's dinner going on. So she's just letting herself be known. See. Anyway, look, I'm gonna let you all go. I'm gonna go grab dinner. I'm not, we just had that 10-minute long video, so I won't play another one, play it again for, or the exit. All I would like for you to do is go get people to get out to Chris, stay. Is we need to get everyone involved. And there should be a lot of pissed off people about what happened and what's happening. I'm still keeping my eyes on my home state. I want to see Sheriff Lombardo, even though I know he's a rhino, he's still better than Sisolak. I want to see him finally tear that out. And I do want to see Adam Laxalt make the Senate. If we get Adam Laxalt, he can definitely help us turn the, he can help us turn it. Yeah, Chris, we're going to get in more of the video streams, but being parked in one spot, there's not a whole lot that I can do. All I can do is sit here and talk to you. But Friday we start walking east again. We're going to make some updates to the website. Talk about the fact that we're going to put a lot of reliance on the 118th. We need people to get involved. We need volunteers to get involved. We need donations. And I want to see this thing grow. I want to see people that are like-minded. I'm hoping that Mona sends the people that are currently there with her out, and let's grow this. Let's get some advanced teams working, ahead of where we are, so that we can get some people wrapped up and rounded up into hearing what it is that we need to do. We have to get out of our comfort zone, and we have to be seen, because otherwise they're going to walk all over us. They're going to continue to walk all over us. All right. But thank you, Sherry. Get everybody PO'd. Everybody needs to be saying, not anymore. Take some vacation time, whatever you got to do to let your body and your voice be heard and seen. All right. So with that, I'm going to say good night to y'all. I'm going to go grab a bite to eat. And
Freedom!
there's Mr. T. He's just said it. So, all right. So we'll let you have an uninterrupted, you already heard Steve and Wake Up in the USA. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that what we need to have you do is to push to get people out. And let's make this a 10-mile long slug of people heading to Washington, D.C. Let's show them the way Brazil is showing them, all right? Let's get the sheriffs involved. Start calling the sheriffs. We can start calling the sheriff's departments and say, hey, are you members of the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association? By chance? If not, why not? You are constitutional officers. You are our first line of defense and our last line of defense. And trust me, without the sheriffs, we're not going to be able to do something that needs to be done in this country if things go sideways. We have got an interesting couple of weeks coming up. I'm sure of that. All right. So let's all get together. Let's share. Get to the website, and let's keep this movement. Let's grow this movement, and let's get to where I have no problem having, being on the front end of a miles long slug of people who have just had it. Okay. So I'm not 100% on the logistics, but there are a lot of you who are. So with that, love y'all. And I'm going to say good night. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.